I would say I've definitely been really fortunate. When I first started working, I immediately off the bat was working with some of the biggest and most iconic names in children's publishing, and overwhelmingly the similarity between all of those authors, besides their creative genius, which is of course a huge part of their success, was really how hard they work. You know, these novels or picture books, these weren't something that they did on a weekend and sent in that were published and became bestsellers. They work incredibly hard. They're writing every day, they're revising, they're editing, they're working with editors, they're in writing groups, and sometimes a project doesn't work and they scrap it completely and start over. So it's really important when you look at the success that you might see on a bestseller list or all across the internet to know that there's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes on behind the scenes to make them as successful as they are. Working with brands is really different in that generally it's a business entity that you're working with. It's not a single person creating something. It's maybe a team of 10 people that you're working with, but it's still just as engaging and just as interesting to work on those deals. I think one of the most important things you learn, and very quickly, is that there are a lot of brands that have guidelines, rules, regulations for how all of their content is used. And it doesn't matter how much money is on the table, there is absolutely no importance when it comes to messing with storylines or putting characters with other characters they should never be seen with. And that can be difficult at first because you could think that you and the publisher you're working with have the best idea that every fan would love to see and it'll be a bestseller. But you learn really quickly that these brands are successful because of the integrity that they have. And making that money in the short term will only compromise their brand in the long term. And I think that's a huge lesson to learn. The other huge takeaway for me has been that a book to a large brand or even some estates is only one piece of the puzzle. So for them, when a book is released, that needs to fit in not just with their brand goals, it needs to fit in with marketing plans they have or releases such as movies and timelines. So you have all of that to work with and figure out where it fits in. But then you also have a publisher who has their own timelines and their own releases. So you're really working with a lot of moving parts, trying to make sure that everyone's happy. It needs to make sense for the brand to come out. It needs to make sense for the publisher. And ultimately, it has to make sense for the fan.
Thank you for listening. Please review our other available content for help writing, publishing, and marketing your book. If you have any questions about the Author Learning Center, please contact us by email at authorsupport@authorlearningcenter.com.